Hey guys, JamesMCD Reviews here, and today I want to talk a little bit about the new Animaniacs. This is the 2020 revival of the very popular animated cartoon from the 1990s. All 13 episodes of season 1 have been available on Hulu for about a week now. There might be some mild spoilers in this video. So as you no doubt guessed, this reboot takes place 20 years after the original. The Warner Brothers and the Warner sister have returned to their water tower, and they realize a lot of things have changed since they've been gone, and they kind of just spend this whole season getting back into their usual antics of just tormenting a bunch of people and throwing out a bunch of one-liners and clever jokes and fourth wall breaking gags. And sandwiched in between these Warner Brothers and Warner sister segments, we get the return of everyone's favorite laboratory mice, Pinky and the Brain, who are still trying to take over the world. Now, me and my girlfriend went through the whole first season of the original Animaniacs in preparation for this, and we both love the hell out of it. It's honestly so funny, it's so clever, it still holds up even though it took place all the way back in the 90s. So this reboot had a lot to live up to in terms of that. And for the most part, I feel like it succeeds. It definitely feels like a throwback, but it still keeps like the same sort of modern tone that you would need for this type of show. It keeps the same sort of cartoony zaniness that was in the original. There's a lot of slapstick humor, but there's also all the clever writing and clever jokes that you are accustomed to. The voice acting all around is really spot on. Like, even though in some cases, like particularly Dot and to a lesser extent Yakko, you can definitely tell that some time has passed just in how they sound and especially the singing. But it wasn't like too big of a distraction. They still are so spot on, and their comedic timing and charisma is so great. One of the great things about bringing back the Animaniacs is there have been so many things that have happened since they've been gone, since they were taken off the air, that they can now poke fun of. And man, they take full advantage of that. They reference everything from politics to, modern pop culture to movies, TV shows, like various animation styles themselves. Like they play with different animation styles. Like so they do sort of like a chibi, like My Little Pony type of style. They do an anime style. It's honestly like, especially now, it feels like it was a really good time to bring these characters back because there was a lot of great material for them to play with and make jokes out of. I've mentioned the songs really briefly earlier, so I will say the songs for the most part are really good too. They're really catchy, they're well written, they're funny, the performance for all of them is really great. Yeah, I believe it's the same songwriters from the original, so they, absolutely 100% knock it out of the park. Now, is the show 100% perfect? Unfortunately, no. There are a lot of things that are wrong with it. For one, the thing that made the original Animaniacs so great was that it was a variety show. It had a multitude of different characters, and they would always like change up the order of which, like, what segments would go which. Not every one of them hit or were especially funny, but it was a little bit of variety. Like, yes, the Warners can carry a show, but like if it was just one of the side characters, it would kind of feel a bit repetitive, and that's unfortunately the case here. Like, the Pinky and the Brain segments aren't like terrible by any means. There are definitely a few lesser ones, but they really can't carry a show. And it's like, after like episode 5, like it really makes you wish, like, it really makes you start to think like, yeah, where are these other really iconic characters? Like, where is Slappy Squirrel? Where is Buttons and Mindy? Where is Rita and Runt? Where are all the Good Feathers? The hippos I could do without. But I still really think, like, fair enough, if you're not gonna bring back the old characters, whatever, I can deal with that. But at the very least, throw in some variety, like, add some more characters. Like, I think in the, like, in all 13 episodes, I think they may have done like 3 original sketches, and only 2 of them were especially funny. And they only appear once. They're only there once, and it's kind of disappointing. Like, and with that said, there are definitely a few episodes that just seem very cookie cutter. Like, they seem like what the episodes would be like if this show was given to someone that didn't really know what they were doing. Like, there are some specific outliers, and I'll get to all the ratings for the individual episodes in a second, but there are definitely quite a few episodes where, like, I found myself just completely bored, not laughing, and kind of just cringing at a lot of the humor. And lastly, and this is like something that I've kind of just realized, like, after letting the show sink in, and you know, not everyone's gonna feel this way. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, it's so great to have these characters back, like they were the originals and stuff like that. But here's the thing, I don't know, I feel like part of me is like, even though the majority of the show is really good, I feel like the time has kind of passed for these characters, like, and they're kind of just, they even acknowledge it to their credit in the intro themselves when they say, the trolls will say we're so passe, but we did meta first. Yeah, but here's the thing, like, there have been plenty of other children's shows that have come along that have done meta humor, and in some cases done it better. Like, earlier today, in fact, my girlfriend cited The Amazing World of Gumball. Like, she cited it as the modern Animaniacs before the modern Animaniacs, and we both kind of unanimously agreed, like, and you know what, it's kind of sad to say, like, Gumball might be better than modern Animaniacs. Like, it does meta humor, it's very smart, it doesn't have a whole lot of bad episodes, it plays with animation, you know, styles more, it has really charming and hilarious characters, it has a variety of characters, which, you know, this is only their first season, but they still have yet to introduce a ton of them. And I'm not knocking it for the time that it came out. I know that this type of show especially takes a long time to make, but especially given the fact that it was sent into production 2 years ago, I don't feel like this show really has anything new or interesting to say. But I'm genuinely hoping that when they eventually do their second season, because they're gonna make a second season, I hope that they've definitely learned from this experience. They listen to some fan feedback, they figure out what works and what doesn't, they retool it, and they, you know, make something that is more in tune with the original, and, you know, can do meta humor and do it smart and do it funny, and but still have like a variety of different characters. But anyway, closing this off before I give my final ranking, I'm gonna real quickly run down the list of all 13 episodes and give my individual ranking and thoughts on each one. Episode 1 for me was 4.5. It was a very strong start. It had a great song about you know, them catching up on what they had missed. It was very entertaining. It, you know, established the tone of the show very well. I really enjoyed it. Episode 2 was another really solid episode. It had some really great humor. It was another kind of throwback to the original where they would be, you know, sort of time traveling and messing with people from throughout history. Also, the Pinky and the Brain sketch in this episode was probably one of the funniest that they've ever done. Episode 3 was fine. I put it as a 3 out of 5. There were some good jokes in there, but overall just not as good as the first two. Episode 4 was pretty weak. It was a 2 out of 5 for me. The Warner's segment was kind of confusing in what sort of message that it wanted to bring across, and it wasn't really all that funny. The Pinky and the Brain one was alright, but it wasn't really enough to save this episode for me. Episode 5 was an easy 4.5 out of 5. The way that they reference all of the old characters and they bring them back in a really kind of dark and twisted way, and the reveal at the end is absolutely hysterical. Episode 6 I put as a 3 out of 5. They had taken this off the Hulu listing for like a good amount of time, and the reason that they did, I'll let you guys look it up, but the reason they did is absolutely hilarious and honestly is more funny than the actual episode itself. So, if that tells you anything. Episode 7 was another 2.51. It was really weak. The Warner segments were all pretty forgettable and not really that funny. Episode 8 is by far the weakest though. The Warner's segment seems like it would be something that you'd find out of like Bad SpongeBob or Bad Steven Universe. Pinky and the Brain segment introduces a new character that they say is gonna probably play a bigger part in season 2, but she's just not interesting enough for me to care. And one of the few original segments that they add wasn't funny or interesting at all. Episode 9 was a good return to form. I really liked the Warner's segments. I liked the sort of Fantasia homage that they were doing with the conductor episode, and I also loved them making fun of Tucker Carlson. Also, the original segment that they brought in for this one, the one with the gnome in the mouth, I thought that was really funny, and I'd like to see that make a return at some point. Episode 10 was a 4.5 just for having the balls to make fun of Russia that hard. Like, I was sitting there with my mouth hanging open that entire segment. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad that Trump is too busy complaining about the election results to watch Animaniacs, because the creators would get drone striked in seconds. Episode 11 was also really solid. I liked the Halloween aesthetic of the intro. They had a really good It parody at the beginning. And I really like how kind of dark the Pinky and the Brain episode gets with the monsters who falls in love with Pinky, and then she just leaves him for someone else. Episode 12 started off kind of rocky for me with that Zit song, but once it got to the Pinky and the Brain episode and the man-spreading episode, that's where it started to really pick up for me. And finally, episode 13 was a 4.5, a really great finisher. We see one of the few remaining characters from the original series that has come back, and I hope it's not a one-off. I hope he appears again in season 2. We also get another really great song from Dot and a hilarious Pinky and the Brain episode where we actually get to delve into why the brain wants to take over the world so bad. So I thought that was kind of nice. So overall, I'd probably have to give season 1 of the new Animaniacs either a 3.5 or a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I have some gripes with it, but the good heavily outweighs the bad, in my opinion. I think it's still really likable and enjoyable. It's great to see these characters again. I really hope we get more characters. The animation's great, the songs are great. Yeah, there are a few duds in there in terms of the episodes, but like I said, the good heavily outweighs the bad. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this series continue. I really hope that they've learned from this. I hope that they listen to fan criticism. I hope that they don't just try to coast off the novelty of it being Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain. And, they try to do a little bit better and improve in season 2 so that every single episode can be a 4 out of 5. But anyway, there we go. That's my thoughts on the new Animaniacs. Let me know down in the comments if you've seen it. What are your thoughts on it? Which do you think is better, the new show or the old show? Let me know all that stuff down in the comments. And also, what are you excited for in seeing this show go forward? What are you hoping to see in season 2? I'll be back very soon with more videos, but until then, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay updated on when I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel, all that stuff will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and good night, everybody! Animaniacs, and we're zany to the max. So just sit back and relax, you'll laugh when you can laugh.